They called it a miracle, explosive growth, rapid industry, a nation reborn from war. But every miracle casts a shadow. What began as a determined plan to protect a future, to slow births and accelerate growth, became the seed of a different crisis, a nation with too few children to carry its tomorrow. South Korea's fertility rate fell from 6 children per woman in 1960 to well below replacement levels, and today it stands among the lowest on Earth. In the 1960s, the government launched an aggressive, state-led family planning drive. Contraceptives were legalized, campaigns plastered the streets, slogans urged families to have fewer children and raise them well. It worked. Too well. By the 1980s, fertility had plummeted. The cultural weight of multi-generational families shifted toward small, nuclear households, and a new social rhythm took hold. Money, housing, education, jobs became the invisible barrier to starting a family. Housing prices around Seoul surged. Young people found home ownership a distant dream. Childcare, private tutoring, the relentless drive for educational success, all add up to an enormous cost. In surveys, large numbers cite housing and child-rearing costs as why they delay or refuse parenthood. Cash handouts did not change that calculus. Modernization shrank households, and expectations changed. Marriage lost its automatic place at the center of life. The average age at first marriage jumped into the 30s. Young people choose careers, urban lives, independence, or opt out of marriage entirely. The result? Fewer births, fewer schools full of children, entire communities hollowing out. Women's education and careers rose, but the social structures didn't adapt. Korean women carry a disproportionate burden of unpaid domestic labor. The motherhood penalty is real. Career setbacks, stigma for taking leave, re-employment at lower pay. Disillusionment followed. Movements rejecting marriage and childbirth gained traction. For many women, the choice not to bear children is a statement. I will not trade my future for an uncertain security.
The consequences are not abstract. South Korea became super-aged at record speed. A shrinking workforce strains pensions, threatens public finances, and risks long-term stagnation. Schools in rural areas close as children disappear. Entire towns lose their heartbeat. And with compulsory military service, a shrinking pool of young men undermines defense readiness. The state spent billions on pro-natalist incentives, cash, housing perks, parental leave. But incentives cannot fix unaffordable housing, a brutal work culture, or entrenched gender inequality. Without structural reform in education, labor, and social norms, the money was a bandage, visible, expensive, but not curative. There are 3 real pathways. Change the social contract, redesign the economy to support families, or reshape the population through immigration, each politically charged, each hard. Education reform could remove the pressure cooker. Labor reform could normalize shared parenting. Regional investment could loosen the Seoul chokehold. Immigration could replenish labor, but it tests long-held ideas about identity. None are easy. All are essential. This is not a problem that fades while we wait. It is a question about how a modern society values life, work, and care, and whether it will adapt before the costs become irreversible. South Korea's story is a warning to nations and to all of us that progress without humanity can hollow a future. The window for choice. If you want to understand how societies survive and how they don't, watch, listen, decide. This is our moment to choose a humane future.